Okay, fine. Right? So now when I put that honey, a spoon of honey on your hand, what is your learning?
So far, whatever we have known of honey is through the sense of hearing, eyes and ears. Now we have also known honey through the sense of touching.
Slowly our
So get through multiple senses. Again, Krishna video is stuck.
and then it means we go for our Zoom call discussion.
Then
Oh, Krishna's here, ma'am. Enna ma'am maati vittinga.
if I allow you to taste that honey, now you have tasted that honey, what do you say?
More senses, right? Like multiple modalities now.
No, how do you know?
Ears,
What do you
teeth,
say? No, what do you say? Now you have tasted honey.
now through the sense of taste also. So
How do you now have you learned about honey?
it's more information that we are gaining through about honey.
No,
Yes.
if you taste
It's
honey, what do you
progressively
say?
increasing, but I'll still say it's not complete.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it can never be complete. That is different, right? Now, what is your learning on honey?
Okay, honey has these properties. I mean, chemical, all these things. Whatever you taught and how we touched it, maybe the smell if it has, and then the taste. These are the things we know about honey.
Once you taste honey,
then the feel and
what do you say after you taste the honey? What do you say? How do you describe it? It is
like if I like it, I would say like it is sweet. If I don't like it, then I'll talk of something that I like more about the properties of honey.
So when you say it is sweet, what does that word sweet mean here?
Our memory about sweet.
It is going back to your peacock feather example.
No.
That the knowledge about we compare the properties.
No. Sugar is sweet, chocolate is sweet, toffee is sweet, honey is sweet. Now you are saying all these are the same.
Oh.
Now, what's prevented you from really understanding tasting honey? Your own knowledge about that word sweet prevented you from tasting it?
No.
If you had no knowledge about the word sweet, if you had no word sweet at all, then how you would have approached honey?
Delicious?
Now, suppose you like it, it's delicious. Delicious is also another word.
I would have said it felt very nice. Immediately, I liked it immediately, and I felt active after eating this honey.
Now, suppose that is how you felt. Now, these are things that you did not feel why earlier.
அதுவும் சொல்லுவோம்ல அது சாப்பிட்ட உடனே இனிப்பா தான் இருந்தது.
Why you didn't feel earlier when you stopped?
No, but we also when it was taught or when you have tasted and
when you taste it first, you start by saying it is sweet.
No, we don't just say sweet, right? அது சாப்பிட்டா அப்படிதான் இருந்தது அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோமே. Like we'll say like it was so tantalizing, it was so nice.
No, only
like for example,
only when I prevented you from using the word sweet, other things came out.
Because like for example, when I talk about, I like mangoes a lot, and when I talk about mango, I don't talk about sweet. I only say you should feel the taste of it. It's so nice.
Now, is it not a fact that the word sweet, the knowledge of sweetness, has actually prevented you from, say, most probably after I've taken the class about honey and given some honey in your hand and asked you to taste it, or given a spoon of honey to taste it, and if I have constantly been teaching in the class, honey is sweet. Honey is very sweet. It is one of the most sweetest edible things you can ever find. It is so sweet. And most likely for most of us, after putting a spoon of honey inside your mouth, the response would be is that, yes, Krishna, it is so sweet. So you are still living with my own input, not the direct experience of what honey can give you. Right? But saying this, right? If you understand, in spite of it, is it possible for me to be observant without the name, with my senses, what is happening?
No, but like again, I think it only depends on it varies from individuals to individuals, and like if there is something that we like very much, like when even when we ate it, we felt like so nice about it. Then our expressions and our words, the expressions itself speak for itself, speak for how we experienced it, right? So that's why I brought the
No,
mango
if
example.
it's possible, I don't know how many of you can do it. If even to imagine it, how many of you can taste something? For example, honey. I'm just taking an example as honey, right? How many of you can taste anything without the knowledge word? When I say knowledge, the word, the naming, the labeling, without the word, without the knowledge of it.
Of the object or of the taste?
Both are same.
I don't think it's possible, Krishna, because we already have put everything in our mind. So we have to then go compare, associate, and say that இது மாதிரி இருக்கு, இது மாதிரி இருக்கு அப்படின்னு.
At least we need some prior information.
First time நான் பியர் சாப்பிடும்போது கொஞ்சம் வேற மாதிரி இருந்துச்சு.
No, see, when you say you cannot do it, you have concluded, you have got stuck there. There's no further learning at all when you conclude, right? So my question is, is it possible to look at something, to listen to something, to bring into your senses something without the naming of it, without the knowledge of it? Even you have the prior exposure, the prior knowledge of that thing, is it possible for you to still to look at, to eat, to taste, or the five senses, whatever it might be, without the knowledge, without the name coming into it? Now, suppose you are not saying it, then, right, it is a fact that knowledge, the very process of naming, the very process of labeling, is an impediment, is an obstacle to further learning. Is it not a fact? When I say I know my husband, when I say I know my wife, when I say I know my son, when I say I know my life in that sense, right? Or I know my friend, I know my partner in that sense. Is it not that very knowing stops us from further exploring, further understanding, further learning about that person? And it, when I say I know my husband, probably the tradition has taught me something about my husband. There are certain additional some experiences which are still limited, added to that tradition, and out of that I am saying that I know my husband, and in actuality my husband does not fit into that bill. I am hurt. So knowledge is the very process of naming, labeling, terming something, and the very process of naming something stops you from learning further. So in that sense, knowledge is an impediment to learning. Knowledge is an obstacle to learning, especially in the domain of psychological space of life and living. How many of you see this?
Krishnaji, the word knowledge, right, is same like the word love. Because last week we talked about love, and that's a relationship. I'll come to that. That love also, you said that, okay, whatever you have with your kid is self-interest. Because if you keep that in your mind, I mean, having my son, so that becomes, so that love, the definition, because knowingly or unknowingly, we have been using that word as a very auspicious, a very responsible word, right? That word we have been using. Similarly, the word knowledge, right? Knowledge is power. Knowledge is something. So we use the word knowledge so often, but now when you say this word, the very process of this knowledge impedes learning something. It's not easy to take it. Maybe you can say a partial knowledge or limited knowledge or a biased knowledge.
Arul, just to hold on there for a minute. What is stopping you from taking this?
So for me,
His
I
own
think,
ideology about the word knowledge.
No, please, all of you, please. Arul, what is stopping you from seeing what I'm saying?
Because the very knowledge of the word knowledge.
So is it not the fact that your own knowledge is now stopping you from exploring something else?
But is that my humble suggestion is that, do we need to call the word knowledge or impartial knowledge or biased knowledge or
That's
something like that?
Knowledge can never be complete, Arul.
Okay, so that's the definition of knowledge. Okay, knowledge can never be complete. Okay.
How much ever I know, knowledge is still limited.
Okay, so that's our definition of knowledge. I see. Okay.
It's not a definition
Because
of knowledge, it's a very nature of knowledge.
Okay, knowledge is always limited, right?
Is it not?
This point.
How much ever I try to acquire, still I know that something is left out. How
Yes,
much ever
that's
I try
for sure.
to, right?
Yeah. Because
So
that's
what,
why we say
no.
right?
So now if you are saying whether what I'm saying is a fact or not, we'll come to it later. But
Okay.
it is stopping you from seeing it. What is stopping you from seeing it? Your own knowledge.
Knowledge about
right.
knowledge. Yeah.
So your own knowledge is stopping you from learning, exploring further.
I'm not stopping in, but I'm just saying the word, the word knowledge. Is that the right word? Yeah.
That is what I'm saying. The word is knowledge. The word of everything. The word of car. Car means what? The car holds the knowledge. The word car holds the knowledge about the car.
Yes.
So is it not important? The word is an impediment. The word is knowledge. The knowledge comes into existence. The knowledge comes into being. The knowledge is gathered. Knowledge is shared through words.
Yes.
Without words, there are no knowledge at all.
True.
So knowledge further, my understanding of the word and your understanding of the word can be more compromised.
Okay.
So is it not a fact when you say Krishna, knowledge is for us, we have been trained, we have been conditioned that knowledge means so powerful, and that is preventing from seeing what you are saying, that is stopping us. That is what I am also saying. Knowledge is an impediment to further learning, further understanding, further exploration. So knowledge is an obstacle. Now that is what you are saying unconsciously.
Okay. So I just want to know, what is the word for the accomplished knowledge or whatever you call that as beyond knowledge. Yeah, what is the word? Just give me the word alone. Wisdom or some ABC,
Let's see.
XYZ.
Then we are only beyond knowledge. If I put a word, it is still within knowledge only.
But
Okay.
Krishna, can I ask something?
Yes.
So when we say knowledge impedes knowledge, right? For example, when we know something, we go and learn, try to learn more about it, right? Like, so is it not that knowledge knowledge creates more curiosity in us to learn and know more about it? Like for example, you eat one. I'll take my own example. When I eat mangoes, my example of mangoes, I eat one variety of mango, and that doesn't stop me from eating other varieties of mangoes or other fruits. But then I go and explore other varieties of mangoes to taste the different breeds, and we understand that there are so many different breeds with so many different shapes and their the climate in which they grow and so on and so forth. And this naturally creates a curiosity in us to understand and learn more about it. So is it not that my knowledge about the mango enable me to learn more about the whole families of mangoes?
Why you are not doing that with other things,
With
other fruits or other things?
that's
Why
what,
are
so
you not? Why are you not doing that with a stone? Why are you not doing that with water? Why are you not doing that with milk? Why are you not doing that with even other fruits? Why are you not
I
doing
do
that with cashew nuts? Why are you not doing that with sugar? Why? What is preventing you from doing it? Now, your liking for mangoes, what?
it's my knowledge, right?
Now that is taking you to the path of curiosity, and that is preventing you from looking at the whole. That is preventing you from exploring the whole, because your love, your liking, your understanding, your knowledge about mangoes is limiting your exploration. Is it not? Maybe you're widening your exploration with mangoes, but what happens to the other?
Okay.
Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
Knowledge in that sense. Now, when I say something, when I say, for simple example, when I say something, whether that is fact, whether it is not factual, all that is different. We'll come to that later. When I'm saying something, are you listening, or are you translating, or are you doing something else, or are you resisting? Most of us, when somebody else talks, something which we like, which is pleasantable to us, we in that sense we are open, we are listening. But the moment what we are hearing is quite unpleasant, or what we dislike, or what we are not willing to listen, we resist. We are not open to it. We are close to it. Now, what is resisting? What is closing? What is rejecting what we are hearing?
My prior knowledge of likeness and unlikeness.
So my knowledge is impeding me from exploring, right?
Exploring, yes.
My knowledge, exploring is learning. My knowledge is an obstacle there.
Krishnaji, one simple point here, because you said, right, so something is bad, or something is okay. You're talking something, let's say, very bad, right? Let's say, just for our sake of argument, some political things or something which is not suitable. You are just talking something. So my knowledge already says that is a wrong way. That is not the right thing to do. That's not the right thing to talk. So my knowledge says that don't listen to it. What is wrong in that point? That knowledge I should appreciate, right? This is correct. This is wrong. Because now you are saying an interesting point. You are talking more about what is knowledge. So that's like knowledge is impeding. I agree. But if there is a good thing and bad thing going on in front of you, and more knowledge says don't smoke, don't drink alcohol. So that is also knowledge. Can I say that, okay, I impede, that is impede means me from trying those things?
No. See, now let us come. But let us also understand, you are jumping to the next stage, the next step. We understand now, knowledge is a factor of time. Knowledge is acquisitive in nature. How much ever vast, knowledge is still limited, right? Knowledge impedes further learning. Knowledge has the physical knowledge as well as psychological knowledge, right? All these things we have seen. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
these are the factors of knowledge. So, all of us are quite on the same page about knowledge.
So far, yes.
So, knowledge, how much ever certain factual, certain physical, certain scientific knowledge, apart from it, knowledge can be extremely subjective in nature also.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what is intelligence? Now, these cannot be intelligence.
These cannot be intelligence, yes.
So, intelligence is not a factor of time. Intelligence is not acquisitive in nature. I cannot add to intelligence. Intelligence is not subjective. Intelligence does not impede my learning. It is not an obstacle to further learning. Right? So, what is intelligence? Intelligence is not about time, so it is not about the past also. So, when there's no past, there's no future also. Future, when you have to think about the future, you have to think based on your past. Right? So, knowledge comes into existence with naming and terming. And intelligence is not part of the naming and terming. So, all these things we have said about knowledge, we have explored about knowledge, and now we have come to intelligence, and we are saying all these things are not intelligence. Am I clear? So, what is intelligence? If I have to use now, if I have to talk about intelligence, the word intelligence is what?
First, we have intel in that word.
No. Please, no. What is that? If see, knowledge is the process of naming, labeling, terming. Am I right? Knowledge comes into existence, into being through words. You know the existence of knowledge through only the names, through the words. What is intelligence then? What is intelligence then?
That cannot
Feeling?
be things that are not.
Feeling?
What is that? Feeling is another word. What is intelligence?
Anything
Is it
that
not-
is not anything that is not naming.
No. What is that intelligence? Is it not another word? No.
That's another word. Correct. That's another label.
Now, are we trying? No, please. Now, are we trying to understand intelligence through knowledge? When we use the word intelligence, are we trying to understand intelligence through the word? First we have understood what is knowledge. We have said what is not intelligence, and to try intelligence, we are using knowledge.
Correct.
Yes.
Agree.
How beautiful, right? How beautiful, right?
How tricky, I would say.
Unless until you are aware, you cannot catch it.
Right. Tricky.
Now, I have to go beyond the word. I have to penetrate into the word. Am I right? I cannot use the word, because if I use the word, what is it still?
It becomes a knowledge.
It is still in the field of knowledge. Now, a particular feeling called fear, a particular emotion called fear, did it come first? The word fear came first, or the feeling?
Feeling.
Feeling, definitely feeling.
Feeling. Did the word car come first, or the actual car?
Probably the car came. The word car came first. Because
Not be, first somebody would have
No, ma'am, not
manufactured.
necessary.
No,
It
not
was a
necessarily.
motor only.
No. First, somebody
It was
would
a
have
motor engine.
manufactured the so-called this thing.
Motor engine.
Somebody must have manufactured this, and somebody would have come and named it as mobile phone. So first, did the thing come or the name?
I think.
in context of discoveries, the naming could have come first. I mean, this is my speculation.
Ma'am, what I
Any product
ma'am, what I
designing,
thinking
first
is
we name it and then only design the product, right?
Before the product came, before they discovered the product, they
No,
need to name.
somebody had see, please, that is true discovery, that is true innovation, that's true creativity. Somebody had no knowledge about the car at all, and somebody created that car, and then all that knowledge put together was called as automobile engineering, and that specific knowledge was called as car. So the first the thing came, then the name. First the feeling came, then the name. First this came into existence, then I was called human. There should have been some human to name it human. There should have been something called car for it to be named car. Are you on the same page? So did yeah.
I think man-made discoveries, discoveries. It could be that the word came first. For example, Chandrayaan. The word Chandrayaan came first, and after that they went into space.
No. See. Naming a mission is different. Without looking at the moon, I cannot name it as moon.
Yeah. That is naturally occurring objects, right? The moon, the sun are all natural.
Even man-made. Because it is going to the moon, we are calling it Chandrayaan. Suppose I do not know where it is going at all, then how do I name it?
I think the way what Krishna is trying to say. Go ahead, Muthuji.
Thought comes to your mind, after that you name it actually. For example, if somebody has to make something, they imagine it in their mind or they make it and then they name it.
Yeah.
So
no, but what I say, like
what I'm telling, I agree with Muthu in this. Like we could name what we imagine about in the mind. It need not necessarily physically exist. But
See, that is okay. That is okay. But that name did not come first.
Yeah, the name did not come first.
right.
Very clearly.
Right. True.
That is clear.
Now, intelligence came first, or something behind the word intelligence came first.
Something behind intelligence should have come first.
Now, if I go by the word intelligence, I am still playing with knowledge. I'm still playing with knowledge.
Yeah.
So I have to penetrate into intelligence. I have to go beyond the word intelligence. I have to go beyond naming, terming, and labeling. So where did the word intelligence originate from? I have to go to the originate of that word.
So this is something that I thought about when we started this conversation. Knowing is knowledge, and the word int meaning internal or something that is inherent, that may refer to intelligence. No.
If you go to the etymological meaning of the word intelligence, there are two words, int, intelligence, right? There are two words. That word int is having a very popular connotation. Inter-district, intra-district, int. Inter, in between. The word meaning int. Legence means to study, So to study in between the words is intelligence. To study in between the lines is intelligence. Now that is what we are doing. Right? The word intelligence originated from studying in between the lines. And if you take the dictionary meaning of the word intelligence, it means a quality of mental alertness. Now, mental alertness is not a factor of time. I was alert yesterday does not mean I'm alert today. I have to be alert now. It is not an acquisitive, when there is no time, it is not an acquisitive process. A man who has not gone to any college or school to acquire knowledge can be very intelligent. A man who has gone to a college and acquired many degrees, many knowledge, can still be very unintelligent. Knowledge is an impediment to learning. Intelligence opens learning. Knowledge can be subjective, specific. Intelligence is common. There's no your intelligence or my intelligence.
Can you say
Now, no, let me finish. Please. Now, Arul told me something. That is where I got this. Arul told me something. Sir, you are saying, Krishna, that I cannot fully look into knowledge, the naming, the process of naming, terming as an impediment. For example, when I look at cigarette, it is injurious to health, right? That is knowledge. How can you say it is impediment to my health? Right? It is impediment to my health. How do you say that it is an obstacle to learning? Then there are something like knowledge is very clearly limiting my exploration, like the mango example. Right? Now, to have the rightful place for that knowledge, I'm reading in between the lines. Even the knowledge, I'm reading in between the lines. To read in between those two things, to discriminate both these things, to discern the position, the place of this knowledge and that knowledge, I'm reading in between the lines, is the very essence of intelligence. That is intelligence. I should understand the rightful place of knowledge. And only an intelligent man will know the rightful place of knowledge. So intelligence uses knowledge where it has to be used. So intelligence is always in the active present. Intelligence is a state of mental alertness, right? Right? When you are mentally alert, for example, you are very physically, when you are alert, you are guarding your home. When do you know you are guarding your home? Or you are not guarding your home?
You are not guarding
you are appointed a watchman. When do you know he is guarding or not guarding?
when there is an intrusion.
When he is alert.
How do you find out he is alert?
When you observe.
When there is an intrusion.
When somebody comes in, how do you
react to
it?
When somebody comes inside the house, takes away something and goes, was he alert?
I mean, how does he respond? That's all.
When somebody walks inside the house, takes away something and goes, was he alert? He did not even know.
No.
He was not.
So when you are alert means what? When there's an intruder, you know you are alert. So your alertness is determined by responding to the intruder. So that is why you can say your security system is good. To capture the intruder is the measure of the security system, or the response, or the quality of the, not the measure, the quality of the security system. Am I right? Therefore, what is mental alertness?
To be aware of when we are not aware.
So when I am looking at, when I know I am unintelligent, when I'm able to look at my own unintelligent ways of thinking, speaking, and acting, when I know it completely, in that there is intelligence. In that there is mental alertness. When I know I'm inattentive, there is alertness. Not that you can become intelligent, right? You can become very knowledgeable, because becoming is a process of time. Knowledge is a process of acquisitiveness. Therefore, you can become more knowledgeable, but you can never become intelligent, because intelligence has no factor of time in it. So intelligence is now or not. It's never, right? Either you're intelligent or you're not intelligent. Therefore, when I'm saying I'm intelligent, it means that I'm mentally alert. What it means to be mentally alert, that I am attentive of my inattention. I am aware of my unaware things. I am able to identify, I am able to understand the unintelligence within me is intelligence.
I'm able to understand the unintelligence within me. That is called intelligence. Is
Yes.
there a last word, last sentence? Yes.
So knowledge is a factor of time. Knowledge is a fact, is a subjective in nature, it's acquisitive in nature. Knowledge is extremely subjective, and you can become more knowledgeable. It is more specific, it is more subjective. It has both psychological as well as physical knowledge, right? So knowledge is factually dependent on time, and more the knowledge, less the learning. Knowledge impedes, obstructs further exploration learning. Intelligence is not a factor of time. You can never become intelligent. Either you are intelligent or you are not. It is not acquisitive in nature. It is not subjective. It is not your intelligence and my intelligence. It is only intelligence. In that sense, intelligence is a state of mental alertness. You have to go beyond the word, penetrate through the word, not get stuck up with the word. Then we have to go to the origin of that thing called intelligence. In that, it is intelligence, reading between the lines, studying between the lines, studying between the words, understanding the true meaning. In that sense, when we go into it, we understand that can happen only in a state of mental alertness, in a state of awareness, where you are not clouded by knowledge, where you are not constrained by knowledge, where you are not limited by your own knowledge. And when you go beyond it, then you see what it is. The very seeing of the unintelligence is intelligence, and you can never become intelligent. Any questions here?
So Krishnaji, unlike knowledge, intelligence can neither be, it cannot be acquired and accumulated over time. That's what you clearly explained, right? So intelligence is a state of mind that if it is aware and read between the lines, then you are intelligent. So it is not a character that you are, I mean, it's not something which you are, okay. And let me rephrase my sentence, because there's a very common, very famous proverb saying that intelligence are born and brilliance are made. Right? So can I say that every one of us here have the same amount of intelligence, but it depends on how we see it or how much alert we are. Like the process of awareness, the process of intelligence is also a constant for
See,
everyone.
we
Can I
see
say like
that some people are more intelligent and some people are less intelligent in life. We see this very obviously. The very fact there are no external factors that cripples it, it is our own knowledge.
Okay.
It is our own unintelligent ways that is crippling our intelligence. So when you remove all the unintelligent ways within you, then there is a chance that for intelligence to come into being. You cannot go in search of intelligence. Intelligence beyond any measure.
So again, intelligence is pure and is constant and is there for everyone to see. But their knowledge or their choice of using this intelligence or not makes the difference.
It's not a choice of using the intelligence. It is that they are stuck to their unintelligence.
Okay. Okay. Stuck to the process of intelligence. Okay. So it's a constant for everyone. So everyone has equal chance to be intelligent, ma'am. Yeah, everyone has equal chance to be intelligent.
That sense.
How much of
No,
your
but we
own
cannot say
conditioning, how much of your own conditioning, how much of your own knowledge, how much of your own memory, how much of your own experiences you are clinging to, you are catching hold of it. These are all the unintelligent ways.
Okay. Because we can't say the same thing for knowledge, because knowledge, a person who learns more knowledgeable, learn less, less knowledgeable or something like that. We can say some quantitative measure, but intelligence is there. It's a common factor for all. It depends on how you remove or how you analyze those unintelligence parts and then get rid of those things to reveal those intelligence.
But acquiring knowledge is also depends on individuals, right? Their own interest. Like some person may
Right. All that is right. That's what we are saying. Knowledge is subjective.
So intelligence is also subjective now, right? Like from what you just now mentioned.
No, intelligence is common everywhere, right? It is common. It is there for all of us. It is there. But our own subjective knowledge prevents intelligence from acting in our life.
So that way, intelligence is.
Light is there. You close your eyes. Then what happens? It's still dark.
Yeah.
But light
I was
is there.
about to tell the example of sunshine and clouds. The sun is always constant, but the clouds that are the night time.
I will not use the word constant. I would prefer the word common.
Like common sense. Okay.
And also, so this also applies to when we say that intelligence is how we read between the lines. So each person may read differently between lines also, right? There also our knowledge acts. It's not a
No. So that is why I'm saying go to the origin of the things. That origin is beyond knowledge. It is not subjective at all.
Okay. I get it.
Krishnaji, one humble suggestion here is that because during this conversation, right, it seems that some way we are downplaying the effect of knowledge, because knowledge is so powerful and is very important for in the life. Everyone needs knowledge. Everyone goes behind knowledge. I totally agree with you that intelligence is very important, but I don't want the wrong message to be sent that okay, we are against knowledge because knowledge impedes something. So please clarify that part, because some kids are also watching this one. So pursuit of knowledge is also very important.
Knowledge in the mechanical field is utmost important.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right? When I say mechanical, it also involves technical, technological, mathematical, and whatnot. That is the only place of knowledge. In every other place, knowledge corrupts. It's evil.
Okay, that's fine. Especially psychological space. I know, like the example you mentioned, I know my wife, I know my son.
And it's not only that. Suppose I am a very good automobile engineer, or I am a very good doctor, for example. I am a very good doctor, right? Now, how do I come across this world? How do I approach this world? That I am a special person. I need some sort of, that knowledge adds to my psychological status. You understand? Knowledge corrupts.
That's what the world calls as ignorance.
No, that is what we have to see, the unintelligent part of it. Now I have to read it in between the lines. When somebody calls me a good doctor, let me be very clear. I am good at my skill, not that it adds extra to my human status.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we worship and adulate knowledge. Unfortunately, which is
That's
very,
what
very
the world
dangerous.
is after, right? That's what the world is after.
That is
Materialistic life, that is what is important, right?
No. See, need is something which we have to take care. It is our responsibility. Are we living for our need at all?
You're living for luxury.
That is greed.
Beyond need.
See, I am saying define your need. I am not want to define. I am not saying I will take 4 chapatis, you take also 4. You take 20 chapatis. You take 200 chapatis. But do we stop at 200 is my question.
That's what, when the 200 is satisfied, we want 1,000 chapatis.
So you understand.
You said we are working for, what is it? We are looking for luxury, right?
Yeah.
We are not now working for need, we are working for luxury. Now in the current situation, luxury is the need, man. Nobody can deny that.
No. See, I'm sorry to use this. That is the problem with knowledge. It finds cunning ways to justify our own greed. I'm saying you define your need. Instead of 200, you say 2,000. You say 20,000. But once 20,000, do we stop? No, never.
We can't contain or define greed, like our individual humans' greed, like that can't be defined, that can't be stated. Right?
And that is
The
the
greed
fundamental that is the fundamental mischief with that is the fundamental mischief root cause of our poverty today. A person who has little bit more knowledge knows how to acquire wealth. But to live intelligently is altogether a different aspect.
By living intelligently alone can we survive in the world.
If intelligence cannot make you survive, I don't think intelligence has any place under the sun. When cunningness, when stupidity, when violence, when aggression can make a person survive and thrive, what not can intelligence and love do? I'm sorry.
Again, this comes back to your definition just now, right? Knowledge impedes. Knowledge is an impediment to learning. So the knowledge of
Ma'am, please அந்த வேர்ட் எல்லாம் என்னால பேரே பண்ண முடியாது. சோ அதனால அந்த பேரை கொஞ்சம் ஓரமா வச்சுக்கலாம். So knowledge is an impediment for learning. அவர் சைக்காலஜிக்கல் ஆஸ்பெக்ட் சொல்றாரு. அவர் கிளியரா சொல்லிட்டாரு. மெட்டீரியலிஸ்டிக் லைஃப்லயும் அதெல்லாம் வந்து knowledge is important சொல்லிட்டாரு. ரைட், அப்ப ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். ஏன்னா அந்த வேர்ட் எல்லாம் ரொம்ப பவர்ஃபுல் மேம். நாலேஜுக்காக தான் நான் லைஃப்ல இருந்து வாழ்ந்துட்டு இருக்கேன் இது வரைக்கும். இனிமேல் அதுதான் வாழ போறேன் நான்.
No, Arul. See, even in the field of physical world, technological world, right? For example, I hate giving worldly examples, but since you are caught up there, I want to question that also.
Okay.
What killed Nokia or BlackBerry? What didn't take Nokia
Okay,
or BlackBerry
this is a very good question. This
or a General Motors or a Ford or a Tata into the next level?
yeah. This is the management lesson. Very simple. Failure to adapt.
No.
Failure to adapt.
No. It's not failure to adapt. What did they fail to adapt and why?
They thought their knowledge is
Because
their skill set, their technology is top.
Right, absolutely finished, done.
yeah. Yes.
Their own knowledge has killed them. Simple as that.
They didn't stay updated.
Why they
No,
didn't
ஓகே
say
நல்ல
they
கொஸ்டின்
didn't-
ஜி சூப்பர். இல்ல இந்த பாயிண்ட் சாதாரண விட முடியாது. அங்கேயே நின்னுதுங்க. நீங்க அதை பேசுவோம் அந்த பாயிண்ட். என்ன சொன்னீங்க? நோக்கியா ஏன் இதாச்சு, பிளாக்பெரி ஏன் இதாச்சு, அவங்க ஓன் நாலேஜ் அதை ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிடுச்சு. ஓகே, நான் அதே கொஸ்டின் கேட்கறேன். ஆப்பிளே இவ்வளவு தூரம் கண்டினியூ ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு. Why Apple is sustaining? Why Samsung is sustaining? Their own knowledge helps them to go further.
Yeah, they
No. See, I'm sorry. It is not their own knowledge that is keeping them. What they know they are using, but they are advancing it also. But BlackBerry and Nokia thought what we know is enough. We will control the world. We will rule the world. That is enough for us. We will take care of the world and nobody can beat us. Nobody can go forward us. We will be the number one in a smartphone. I will be the number one in regular other phones. Both were killed.
Correct. So failure to adapt.
But a Samsung or Apple or somebody from China was willing to go beyond it.
So that was arrogance, right? That was arrogance to think that we will always be ruling.
Madam, Saida, what is that arrogance? How do you define arrogance?
Reluctant to learn further.
What is stopping you? Where does that arrogance originate from?
I know everything.
Right?
I know everything. Now, what is that?
That is the knowledge.
Now, what is stopping you from learning? Arrogance. Where is that coming
Arrogance,
from? Your
correct.
own knowledge. Now, knowledge is impeding growth. Knowledge is impeding learning. Knowledge is impeding progression.
Okay, bro. Okay, that's the same, ma'am. Let me handle this. I'll be the advocate for this, ma'am. Yeah, I am representing all of us. The same question. You are correct. You are saying that okay. What is it? What we said, the aggression, saying that I know everything. That stopped them. Okay, agree. But for the same thing in Apple and Samsung, there was a team saying that hey, what we have is not sufficient. Future is going to change. So we also need to adapt. So that is also a knowledge, right? So knowledge is always
That is
not
not knowledge.
to be
That is intelligence. They understood the limitation of the knowledge.
Yes.
அதாவது knowledge நல்லா யூஸ் பண்ணா intelligence.
இல்ல now intelligence uses knowledge. No. Intelligence has nothing to do with knowledge. Intelligence uses knowledge. When I see
one simple word, okay. Intelligence is what you know about you know your limitations of your knowledge is intelligence. If you know the limitations of your knowledge, that's called intelligence. Am I right saying that?
No. Knowledge, intelligence has nothing to do with knowledge. But when somebody says that I know everything, I can manage it, I am the future, I am the past, I can rule the technology market for next 100,000 years, then
Gone.
Then no, that is unintelligence, right? That is stupidity. That is maximum stupidity. Now to see the stupidity is intelligence. Then you change.
Agree.
But what is making me to say I am the world, I can rule the world? My own knowledge.
Arrogance.
Now what is preventing me from going ahead? What is impeding me from learning is my knowledge.
And your intelligence says that please go ahead.
The same knowledge, right?
That is why I say when you are so cut up with knowledge, when you are so clinging to knowledge, when you make knowledge the most superior, more powerful, intelligence can never act.
When knowledge is alone, when we cling only to knowledge, then
Yes, that is why I'm saying we worship and adulate knowledge. Very dangerous.
So knowledge
Actually,
alone,
the process. Ma'am, correct, ma'am. Go ahead, please.
The knowledge alone, knowledge is an impediment to learning. It's like knowing, clinging on to knowledge alone is an impediment to learning. Like
Correct.
having the pride that I am the best, or I have
That
the
is
best.
I am the best. Saying that I am the best is also part of knowledge.
Yeah. So he's saying that intelligence is the one that tells this knowledge to go.
Yeah.
Arul, we lost you, I think. At least I am not able to hear you.
Yeah, I can also not hear him. I think he muted.
No, no, no. I think something with this connection, right? So, do you see this? Yeah, yeah.
Nothing to do with Nokia or Apple or anything. When you said the knowledge, what from where I understood this factor is you question saying like I know so and so, I know my friend, I know my husband, I know so and so. The same applies to I know myself also, right? I know me.
Yes, 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 yes. I
The moment we
know.
say I know me, there is a limitation. We don't start exhibiting intelligence at all there. That it stops, correct?
Don't
It applies
let
so
us
much to ourselves
no,
also.
no.
Am I
When I
right?
say I know myself, let us not say I'm not exhibiting intelligence. It is part of unintelligence. To see that unintelligence is part of intelligence.
So it's like when we know when we are aware that we are aware, that moment intelligence ceases to exist. It's a knowledge from that point, is it?
Repeat, please come again. I'm sorry, I lost you.
When we are aware that we are aware, when we are aware that we are unaware, then that is intelligence. When we know the points in which we are unaware, then that's
Yes,
intelligence.
yes, that is part of
If
intelligence.
we
Yes,
are
yes, very
aware
true.
that we are aware, then it is knowledge, is it?
Yes, yes, it is knowledge. It's past.
Okay.
So now with this, we little bit further our exploration into emotional intelligence. Right? Now we know what is intelligence. Now if I take the word guilt, or if I take the word guilty. If I take an emotion called guilt, if I take an feeling called or a process called greed or fear or whatever it might be, anger, right? If 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 at all I have to end that emotion, it means I have to be very, very intelligent about that emotion. If I want to knock out greed within me, it means I have to be extremely intelligent about greed, what it means, what it implies.
Going by your earlier definition, reading between the lines, it means that being aware of greed, why I need that greed, what I'm going to achieve through the greed.
See, this is the problem with knowledge. We are using knowledge. It starts with a fundamental understanding does what the word greed means first. Can I see greed without the word greed? Can I go into the root, to the origin of greed or fear or anger? So, is it possible for me to look at the thing called greed without the word greed? That is where intelligence starts. Otherwise, you are stuck with knowledge.
Correct. There's a feeling. Correct.
So, is it possible for me to look at the word with the thing called greed without naming it? Why should I? Why knowledge is an impediment to understanding? Right? We'll go to that. That is more important. The moment I use the word greed, it holds something to you, right? It means something to you. That prevents you from seeing the actuality. So far, without questioning it, you are thinking your knowledge on the word intelligence is intelligence. You wouldn't actually go into intelligence unless your knowledge is questioned. Unless you are willing to set aside your knowledge on the word intelligence, and once you are willing to set aside the word intelligence, you came to an understanding what is intelligence. So in that very essence, I have understood intelligence. Then in that very understanding, I know I cannot become intelligence. There is no action to become intelligence. Either I'm intelligent or not intelligent. Then I understand it's a state of mental alertness. When I have to read between the lines, when I have to read between the words, I cannot do it without certain amount of mental alertness. So that mental alertness is a factor of, is a free from the factor of time. Therefore, I have to set aside my knowledge for intelligence to function. And I have to rightly know the rightful place of knowledge. I know where I should use knowledge. Knowledge as a place, and I should know where I should use it. And that is part of intelligence. So, emotional intelligence comes into being only if you are willing to put in that kind of in-depth energy, in-depth, passion to understand every emotion that arises within you. Without the word, being mentally very alert and penetrating and going beyond the naming and labeling. The moment I label it, for example, what is intelligence? Intelligence is a capacity, it's a measure to do something. That is the traditional knowledge, right? And there is multiple intelligence in this area, that area, all these things you understand. The modern education has corrupted us, right? So we are willing to go into that. We are willing to challenge it. We are willing to question it. We are willing to go into it. So the moment I put a word, put a name to it, it means I have concluded it. I have known it. I have tried to hold it through a word, through a knowledge. It prevents me from further exploration. So whenever I use the word, especially with intelligence, especially with emotions, what happens? When I say I am fearful, I'm afraid, and I want to understand fear, and when you go and talk to somebody, I'm fearful, right? The very usage of that word fear prevents you from looking beyond that word. You go to a psychologist, he will first try to tell you, try to name it, label it. Therefore, the naming and labeling it brings you into the zone of the known knowledge. In that sense, when it comes to the known, you can manipulate it, manage it, you can cope up with it, but you can never eliminate it, you can never dissolve it. More you name it, more it reinforces it strengthens that feeling, that emotion. More you say it is fear, it more it strengthens and reinforces. Therefore, when you are in times of fear, in times of grief, in times of some emotion, is it possible to look at that so-called thing called emotion without naming it, without labeling it, without terming it? Then that very process will weaken that emotion, weaken that thing called fear. The moment you name it fear, it strengthens it, reinforces it. But because knowledge is a factor of usage also, the more you use it, the more you sharpen the memory, the more you recollect it, the more you are at the fingertips of that knowledge. But when you deny the action of knowledge within the field of life and living, especially the psychological field of life and living, for example, when you are fearful, when you don't name it, when you are angry and when you don't name it, when you are guilty and you don't name it, then you have a direct perception, direct contact with the thing called fear, not with the word, not with the knowledge of fear, but with the thing called fear. What happens behind that word? What is the origin? You go to the origin. And without naming it, without labeling it, you weaken it. You weaken it. Right? It doesn't have the same ferocity, it doesn't have the same strength to come back and trouble us. Therefore, the very process of emotional intelligence is to look at our emotions without naming it, trying to go beyond the name, penetrate into the name, trying to read in between the lines and look at it from the state of origin. Right? This is the very process of emotional intelligence. I understand we have to take some examples earlier, much earlier couple of months earlier, we have gone through certain aspects of fear and anger. I'm willing to go through it again, but this is what lies behind those insights. This is what goes behind those insights. This is actually what happens. Why I say don't name it. The moment you name it, you strengthen it, you reinforce it, it comes back very strongly, right? So with this, today's session, personally from my side, I have concluded for today. It is up to you people. I'm still wondering who's this person, Vani. I would be happy.
Oh, she did reply. Hey, Vani, come in.
Arul's sister.
Yeah, introduce yourself.
What it should be your
Sorry, I thought she already introduced herself.
A couple of times I asked.
Oh, I am
too late for her.
Yeah, it's very late there. But maybe, okay, I'll check. Yeah. Vani, come in. Vani, you are in mute.
Hi.
Yes. Vani, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone.
Hello,
I'm
hello,
Vani.
Vani.
Yeah, go ahead. We are listening. I don't know what happened.
So we will start with Vani. Her thoughts on the session, please. Go ahead, please.
Today is the first time I attended. So overall, it was interesting, but
I think we are getting lost.
Vani, feel free, right? Nobody's going to judge. Okay? Just feel free and just say your honest feedback.
it was like daily I used to hear these lectures, like this type of lecture from my brother. The same thing it was, because he used to daily talk to me like this way. So
Okay, chalo. We'll start with Shantapriya.
Totally a new perception to the word knowledge and intelligence, Krishna. Good. The comparison between the both, how like literally it's contrast. That comparison, I really liked it. As I meant, knowing me, when I say I know me, that's what limits, that's where the unintelligence, it's an unintelligent way of looking at myself. I understand that. Good session, Krishna. And I'm sorry, my sister-in-law texted saying that there is no connection, proper connection, and she couldn't continue the session on this. Good one. The examples actually brought in more life. When ma'am started about the love for mangoes and going into a deeper knowledge about it, once she started telling only why not an apple or why not a strawberry, that's the knowledge which is limiting her to look at the other things. It's a very beautiful way of coming out of it. Good. Reading between the lines is intelligence. Good. Thank you. Thank you for the session.
Ramya.
yeah, so not much.
Ramya, at least I am not able to hear you. You're breaking.
We can't hear her either.
No. We can see you clearly, your actions, but not hear you.
No, ma'am, your microphone might not be working. You're using a headset, right? Bluetooth.
No. I can read your lips and say, how is it now?
How is it now? No.
Yes, that was good.
Great. Yeah,
Oh,
go
okay.
ahead.
Okay. For a happy and a fulfilling life, what should be our quest for? Knowledge, or you said intelligence cannot be acquired, or so what is important? What should be my day-to-day aspect? Should be on.
I don't know, but all I can point out to you is I have not seen even one knowledgeable person living happily. And I have not seen one intelligent person dying unhappily.
Okay.
கிருஷ்ணா நீ இன்னும் சவிதா மேடம் பார்க்கல.
ஏன்?
அது
Okay, so you said intelligence cannot be acquired. It's just the state of mind or being alert. So is there any way, I can improve, or, by staying quiet, by being more alert, so we can't die happily?
No. The very aspect of looking at your unintelligence requires lot of mental alertness. I'm not terming what Savita said to be unintelligent, but there is an element of unintelligence when she said, the knowledge about mangoes has given me enormous curiosity to go into varied varieties of mangoes, for example. There, what I started to read between the lines is, why not apples or oranges? Why not figs or nuts, cashew nuts? Why not peanuts, or why not it be soil or stone? So her own knowledge has, though she has in depth gone into varied mangoes, she's extremely knowledgeable in mangoes. The same interest or knowledge about mangoes has prevented her from looking at other things, to be open to other things. So that is part of unintelligence. Now, if I know this, I'm not saying that tomorrow set aside mangoes, have a different taste for mangoes. All that is not required. But can I be also open to the exploration of apples? Can I be open to exploration of many things or all things? So looking at my own unintelligence as I live today, as I live this moment, at every moment, right? See, you please see the difficulty of knowledge. I have to acquire. Right? I have to go to a guru, I have to go to a teacher, I have to go to a book, I have to go to a Google, I have to go into many things to acquire knowledge. But intelligence is available abundantly. All I have to do is to look at my own unintelligence, then that blooms. And all, if you understand your current, if at all, I'm not saying your life is, if at all your life is a bit unhappy or a bit painful, psychologically hurtful or disappointed or something, only thing you can question is your unintelligence or knowledge. All your acquired knowledge has kept you unhappy, but the very questioning of that unhappiness creates happiness. The very fact of looking at those unhappiness as unhappiness creates happiness. So you need not take any effort to be intelligent. See the beauty of it, no? It is effortless. We are so conditioned to go after something. We are so conditioned to traditionally, put some effort, day and night sit and study, go to teachers, go into Google, use all the resources, become more knowledgeable. Therefore, in that perspective, we are looking at intelligence and we want to hunt intelligence. We want to get more intelligence. But please try to see the simplicity of intelligence without any effort. Without anything, whether I'm rich, poor, nothing, right? One can be intelligent. One can look at their own unintelligence. And that is intelligence. It is effortless. I'm doing something. I'm going after mangoes. Just understanding that my passion for mangoes is creating some sort of limitations to curiosity to other aspects. What effort did I take? No effort. So it's like intelligence is effortless. For knowledge, you have to take so many effort, and then it impedes, then it has so much of mischief. It creates some sort of pride. Knowledge creates a lot of pride in people, all these things. But if you take intelligence, it is effortless. That's the beauty of it. That's a central, and nobody can chase it. Nobody can go behind it. Nobody can acquire it. Nobody can say that I can become intelligent. That's the beauty of it. Whether it's rich, poor, male, female, married, unmarried, children, no children, one husband, many wives, nothing. It doesn't really matter. Many husbands, one wife, it really doesn't matter. Whether you have fat bank balance, whether you are son and daughter of so and so, whether you are husband and wife of so and so, whether your parents and so and so, whether your grandfather, so it doesn't really, all this knowledge doesn't matter. Right? So it is so beautiful. It is so effortless.
Okay, thank you.
Arun?
Thank you, Krishna ji. It's a very interesting session. It's not just for the namesake. I'm just saying that the main reason is because when you said the knowledge, right, then we had two important things about when to apply knowledge. That comes the intelligence, right? And when my knowledge is sufficient, when I need to enhance it, there also comes the intelligence. So we clearly can differentiate that. That is one important take-home message. The other one, which I like very much, is the
when you said we need to keep ourselves updated, otherwise other people will win over us.
No. Win over us means namak velaiye irukadu. Our profession is like that.
That's what I'm telling. So anga their competition comes into existence, right?
Correct. நம்ம nature of work அப்படிதான் மேம். Survival of the fittest தானே. If you are not in that level, you just I mean, there will be other people replacing us. So அப்ப need கூட work பண்ண முடியாம போயிடும். So that is our journey, and the process we have to run. அதுல டவுட்டே கிடையாது. But we have to also have this awareness. Chasing behind knowledge is not the only thing, and psychological life we need more intelligence. So that boundary we have to draw very clearly. So that is what I wanted to highlight, emphasize. Priya madam வந்து தலையாட்ட மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. ஆனா ஸ்கூல்ல ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் சொல்லும்போது எல்லாரும் தலையாட்டணும்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, ஆனா இவங்க மட்டும் ஒண்ணுமே சொல்ல மாட்டாங்க.
Sorry,
you're so much cling to the word knowledge, Arul. That's all.
இல்ல மேம், வேற வழியே இல்ல.
Knowledge now teacher knowledge is the word எவ்வளவு important word, but what he means is not that. எனக்கு அதுதான் நான் சொன்னேன், the perception today's session is completely different. From a psychological aspect, how something hinders our visibility. I would say like that. It hinders our visibility to look at actually what is what. That is the knowledge he is talking about. I don't know.
அது கரெக்ட். அத psychological aspectல அந்த பாயிண்ட் I strongly agree. நம்ம அந்த psychological aspectல knowledge, real life knowledge, லவ்வே நம்ம பிரிச்சு பார்க்கல. போன வாரம் ரவ்வே தப்புன்றாரு அவரு. கிருஷ்ணாஜி உங்களை பத்தி தான் சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கோம். So last week வந்து நீங்க வந்து லவ்ன்ற பிள்ளைங்க வச்சிருக்கிறது, that is self interest clear ஒரு definition வச்சிட்டீங்க. கிருஷ்ணாஜி கேக்குதா?
yes.
கேட்க மாட்டேங்குது நினைக்கிறேன், ஸ்டக்கா இருக்கு திரும்பியும். Hello, Krishna ji?
Yes, I can hear you.
So, Priya ma'am, coming back to our point, I strongly agree. இன்னைக்கு வந்து, so actually, Priya ma'am, coming back to your point, இன்னைக்கு வந்து clear there is a differentiation. The knowledge வந்து அந்த technical knowledge என்ன, psychological level knowledge எப்படி நம்மள அடுத்த level போகாம impede பண்ணுதுன்றது வந்து very clear difference. That is the main takeaway point I feel.
And even from your நீங்க சொல்ற reference-லயும் there was an explanation about it, இல்லையா? When we say that I know this is the technology I know it என்ற அந்த ஒரு knowledge வந்து it hinders us, இல்லையா?
மேடம்,
that is an unintelligent way ன்னு சொல்றோம்.
அங்கதான் வந்து நிக்கிறோம். இப்போ என்னன்னா எங்க ஃபீல்ட பொறுத்த வரைக்கும், இப்போ நான் சவிதா மேம் ஆர்டிஃபிஷியல் இன்டெலிஜென்ஸ்ல வர்க் பண்ணேன்.
இல்லங்க, நீங்க இப்போ உங்க knowledge கிடையாது இது. You have to keep yourself updated ன்னு சொல்றதே உங்களோட intelligent way of thinking.
கரெக்ட் தான். But the knowledge is keeping updated also. Intelligence தான் சொல்லுது, நான் இல்லன்னு சொல்லல.
அந்த இன்டெலிஜென்ஸ் இல்லைன்னா உங்களுக்கு அது வராதுல. அந்த knowledgeோட you will be content with that, இல்லையா? அந்த இன்டெலிஜென்ஸ் தான் இங்க playing the role பேசிட்டு இருக்கோம் நம்ம. Your intelligent way of looking at I have to keep myself updated. I need more knowledge. That itself is an intelligent way of looking at
அதான்
it.
மேம் நீங்க இடத்துல என்ன தெரியுமா பண்றீங்க, நாலேஜை வந்து வில்லன் ஆக்கிட்டு இன்டெலிஜென்ஸவே ஹீரோ ஆக்கிட்டு இருக்கீங்க. அதான் கிருஷ்ணாஜியும் பண்றாரு. வரட்டும் அவரு.
ஒரு டீச்சருக்கு நாலேஜ் பேட்னு சொன்னா எப்படி ரசி பாருங்க.
See, I'm not only saying knowledge is villain, I'm saying knowledge is evil.
Evil. முடிஞ்சு போச்சு கதை. அதேதான். ரைட். முடிச்சிட்டாரா?
See, please. See, no, please. I hear bits and pieces of the conversation, so I'm just trying to paraphrase it or rephrase it and then start my understanding, right? Okay. So when I came in, when Savita was highlighting about Muthu's point, that your very fact that you want to learn so that somebody else doesn't overtake us, therefore I want to acquire more knowledge, is not intelligence, it's fear. Right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now I have further more to study. I have to study for the love of studying. I have to go into the knowledge for the love of knowledge. Is very different from trying to make something out of that knowledge out of fear.
Correct.
Trying and thinking that somebody will overtake me, then I have to have this competitive spirit or advantage and then compare myself, is a part of unintelligence.
It's also unintelligence. Okay sir, very good point sir. இப்போ நான் அதே क्वेश्चन கேக்குறேன். ஆப்பிளும் சாம்சங்கும் லவ் ஃபார் நாலேஜ்க்காக படிச்சாங்களா இல்ல ஃபியர் நம்ம தோத்துருவோமேன்ற ஃபியர்னால அவங்க முன்னேறினாங்களா?
Arul, see, that is a very commercial world which is full of exploitation. That is why when I started with the Nokia and BlackBerry example, I said I do not get into commercial examples, but because you quoted something out of it, I had to come there, right? The very fact that Apple and it is not just merely knowledge or intelligence there, it is a part, what I call it as cunningness. Sure. There's an intense factor of exploitation. Now there can be another question. When Apple wants to sell its iPhone, when I buy it, why should I get exploited? So why I am not applying my individual, or I'm not looking at my own unintelligence? That is a different point. But you understand what, to my understanding, to my way of looking at things, if you go into little bit further, knowledge per se has its very beautiful role, and to keep knowledge at the rightful place, unless until knowledge is kept at the rightful place, your life or human life is hell, which is what we are seeing today. The very resultant of what we are seeing today, the violence, right? My knowledge of the border of China and your knowledge of border of India, my knowledge of border of Pakistan and your knowledge of border of India, your knowledge of America and my knowledge of Canada, all these things are what is creating havoc. And even if I find out something beautifully like nuclear energy, immediately the human factor, what it does, it looks at destroying things, it looks at mass destruction. So all these things are part of knowledge. It is not very rocket science, or it's not very difficult to see the unintelligent ways of this world, but one can justify it, one can be extremely cunning about it. All these things are very different, but I still question it, right? We have gone, all of us individually, not just the Apples, not just the nations of Singapore or Netherlands or America or India or China or whatever, how much ever poor or rich the country may be, how much ever rich or poor the human beings may be, most of us, and especially the rich people, all of us have gone much beyond our need, and we are working much beyond our needs. And that is part of that unintelligence. And if I have to gather more knowledge to keep myself relevant and secure in this unintelligent world, in this very aggressive, in this very painful world, it is part of unintelligence. I am not going to judge it. It is not in me to judge it, but it is unintelligence. Because the very competition, I am competing against humanity. I am competing against my fellow human beings. I am trying to say that I have to be better than you, means I have to be better than another human being. When I say that it's a survival of the fittest, then I am saying I am no better than an animal. I am saying that I am no better than a big fish in the pond. I am saying I am no better than the tiger in the forest. It is the nature to eat, right? One tiger against another tiger is about the strength there. It is the strength, the fittest survive. But in humanity, is it not? It should not. It should be the other way around. That if you are weak, I should come around to lift you, not to say that you are weak, therefore I exploit you. But unfortunately, that is the fabric of the world. You are weak. I sense you are weak. I find ways, means to exploit you, and that we are calling it as material success. I'm sorry. Muthu.
So probably the first session we should have started after the mindfulness class, because a lot of other things, when you spoke about, when we explored about fear, anger, a lot of those things now actually make sense, are more clear. I won't say it didn't make sense earlier, but probably more clearer, in terms of how we only look at that using knowledge and not through intelligence, or something called intelligence, right? So that's my biggest takeaway from this session, Krishna. Thanks.
Sarita and Venkat.
For me, there were two Buddha moments today. The first one was when you said. Thank
you, Arun. Thank you so much.
The first was the knowledge. Hello.
Yes.
That's stuck.
Everybody is stuck. I think it's
Okay.
We are able to hear you.
so there were so the first one was when I understood the meaning of knowledge impedes learning. When I understood it through the mango example, right? That was a a bulb moment for me.
Muthu moment.
This moment, not intelligence helps to discern knowledge, or intelligence is more towards understanding understanding the effects of knowledge and stuff, that to connect between, read between the words and understand which part of knowledge is important, or to using intelligence for knowledge, that moment, right? So these two were enlightening moments today. So thank you very much for that, and thanks so much to everybody for the very energetic discussions that we had today.
Yeah, I would for me two points today. Not that other moments were lesser or more. I'm not comparing here, but when Arul asked me this question, there is a knowledge which I use about smoking, which is good, and the knowledge about something else I can discard about the human being. Till then, even I was not able to penetrate beyond the word intelligence. Right? So in that sense, after that was something that came into me, then I said that, once you start looking at intelligence as the word intelligence, it is still knowledge. So that was the Muthu moment for me today.
Krishna, ஏதாவது டேப்லெட் இருந்தா கொடுங்க இன்டெலிஜென்ட் ஆகிறதுக்கு.
Muthu, that is what we are, see, like Raman effect, we are calling it Muthu moment. What is this?
And one more thing that I wanted to share today was the Yoga Nidra practice. That's really, really very helpful for me at several levels. I used to be very, very anxious, like until last year, until I started all these mindfulness and all. I used to be very anxious. What next? What next? What next was the biggest question that always lingers in me. But now I'm like, let me do what I have to do now. Let me not worry about the next. So that's really very helpful for me, and I'm really thankful for for all that I gained through these sessions. Thank you.
Venkat.
Okay. The thing is, right, when we started first, right, first about knowing about a person, right. For me, right, I used to tell this often to many people. Someone says, I know you, right? I know you are like this, something like that, right? Mostly I say that you are talking about me based on your knowledge about someone else who you know before me. For example, you had seen few people, you are trying to superimpose their image on me, right? You're trying to project me like them or something like that. You never try to understand me. Okay, you don't understand me clearly, but you try to project me like that. That is, I used to say always. Okay, I always think like that also. Very rarely, few people only. Very rarely, people understand other. They understand others very clearly. Mostly, they superimpose others' image on someone else. This is the first thing. It's very clear. So you use the word unintelligent, right? But that is your intelligence. So I'm unintelligent. I always use the word stupidity. Very. I just call it stupid. I never say unintelligent. That that creates a different effect on others. So
Ah,
now I know.
Shanthapriya.
Yeah, I should not use the word stupidity. Okay, so that's good learning from me. Okay, and next thing, right? When we talk about when you are talking about greed, right? Okay, for me, greed is caused by fear. This effect of fear is greed. That's what I feel. Uh, Sometimes anger also is based on some fears. Okay, not every time. Okay, sometimes anger is, the effect of fear is anger. Sometimes mostly the effect of fear, greed is also caused by anger. I mean fear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So greed is also caused by fear. So this is what I think. When I think why I'm greedy, because I fear I may someone take it more than that, someone I fear, because of my fear I want everything for me. I may lose it, they are having more, something like that. So this is one. And the next thing, right, it's very clear now, very clear what is intelligence, very clear. So because uh, you know your limitations, that's also what intelligence, right? If you know your limitations, is it called not intelligence? Somewhat.
Yes, that is part of intelligence.
So I can only do this, I cannot do this, I do this, it's possible, this is not possible, something like that, right?
True, true, true.
Okay. Today is really good. Got so many things. So clarified, right? See, the way we express ourselves is also intelligence, right? The way we express knowledge is also intelligence, right?
True, true.
That's why I gave an example, right? You say unintelligence, I say stupid. That's also that's not the right way of expressing your knowledge, right?
Venkat, actually, I use the word stupidity a lot. I use it a lot, and where it requires, where you see stupidity, but more than that, one has to also look it in with context with unintelligence. It is not again the traditionally what that word stupidity people it denotes. It is the way we come across, the way we live, right? The way we use knowledge. All these things are part of that stupidity, right? So I understand. I understand. I see the point where you are saying. Factually, I think Shantapriya will vouch the way I use the word stupidity a lot. Is it not, Shantapriya?
Every second word is his words will be stupidity.
Okay.
I went one day, once I went to the etymology of that word. Why constantly stupid, stupid? The stupidity. It's not even stupid. It's stupidity. Act of being stupid.
right?
And then my
So
son hears the word, he'll be very angry. Why are you using that word? Even if I never called him, but if I
But
say
how
something,
powerful the knowledge about a word clings to it, like it's there in our mind. Like how you express this word itself. We have a knowledge about that word in mind. That's what it irritates, no? The word, how can we use to pit against someone?
And that, especially when that word comes between a heated argument, right?
Venkat, now I understand with against whom you are used. Should I stop the recording, please? Okay. So now this also leaves us on, what is the next week we are going to explore.
we talk about greed, Krishna. Actually, I want to talk about that also. This greed is very. I see most people have greed. They don't know they have.
No, right. See, instead of, we will look into, at some point of time, we will look into most of the emotions. You see, one emotion which we have, I don't, I'm not very comfortable to use the word emotion as such, but to have a common communication understanding. The word loneliness, we have gone into the state of loneliness very strongly. Fear, anger, right? Muthu, 1 second. So next week, to me, correct me if I'm wrong, and let me know. Now we have come into knowledge, we have come into intelligence, right? Then is it not that we look into actions? What is action? Greed is also part, greedy, every emotion, every emotion is part of our action. So what is action? Is it not, or anything else? To me, it seems that the chain leads me to, when I understand deeply what is knowledge, what is intelligence, then what is action? How my action should be or will be? What is my action? How do I think? That is part of even thinking, speaking, action. All these things put together is action, right? Sitting silently, quietly is also action. So what is action, right? To me, it comes there. And when we see the collective, and at some point of time, we will look into greed or violence or conflict one by one. Every week we can take one or two emotions and then go into depth of it. But to me, I'm okay to talk about greed. To me, the next question is, if I understand what is knowledge, if I understand what is intelligence, then is it not that my action should speak?
Again,
Or anything else?
Oh, Krishna, I think we're good. We can
Right?
talk about actions. Yeah.
Action. Thank you so much. Thank you so
thank
much.
you. Good night.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, Saita. Good night,
Thank you.
Venkat.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Vani, for
Thank you
joining
all.
us. Thank you, Ramya. Thank you, Shantapriya, Muthu.